Hi everyone, this is Hindalea and David with the Singing Souls, and we are back for our 7-minute Sicha. How do you change the world?
And I want to give a little bit of background on this topic. In the last couple of centuries, we see a shift in society. We can see things like the French Revolution, the American Revolution, and especially the Russian Revolution, where people come to this understanding that there is a global sort of movement towards some kind of ideal, if you will. These people, they had the idea that they wanted to change the world. They wanted to change the human. And you can say it's a noble effort, but what we ask today is, how do we do it? I want to start with something very simple. Before you go out to change the world, first you must look at yourself and your surroundings. Meaning, first, before you change anybody, before you get on a high horse and tell people how they have to act and what's correct and what's wrong, you have to focus in on yourself, your rights, your wrongs, what you have to work on, etc. We can go from the individual to the changing your family to extended family to, let's say, community, city, etc. That way you can start the process of affecting the world around you.
So as David was saying, first you start with yourself. And how do you do that? Well, fortunately for us, Breslov Judaism has a really fantastic answer, and it's called hitbodedut. In Hebrew, the word boded, which is the root word here, or badad, in hitbodedut means alone. And hitbodedut essentially means individual self-reflection. So you go by yourself somewhere. Breslovs are a fan of going into the forest, but it could be anywhere in your apartment. And you take some time for yourself. You are alone, you meditate, you reflect. This is a time for personal prayer. Think about your values, think about what you really care about, and what you're made for. As anyone knows, with meditation, it's not one session and you're good to go. This is a regular, constant fixture of your life. You focus on your calling, you should examine it, strengthen it, pursue it, and understand it in a purpose context.
And when one realizes what their purpose in life is, they're able to do Tikkun Olam. Tikkun Olam is essentially repairing the world. Repairing the world is a really, really big word, if you will. But when you realize what your purpose in this world is, you realize what you're able to repair, what you're meant to repair. It's not that you ever come to an exact conclusion, but you come closer to what your purpose is. And as you come closer to what your purpose is, you're able to act it out more and more. Tikkun Olam, I think the most important thing is realizing that each person is responsible for changing a specific part of the world. If you see a problem in the world, if you notice it, then that problem is designated for you. You noticed it. You noticed it enough to have to think about it. It means that it's designated for you. And never underestimate the value of what you do. A lot of people say, oh, what's my one deed going to do? And what Judaism teaches is that every single thing that we do matters. There is a creator in this world. And when you do something, if you will, there's a change in the balance in the world of good and evil. And so every single good or bad spark that you set into this world has a more far-reaching effect than you can even imagine. Every single thing that you do counts. It's important. It's analyzed by somebody other than just you, by the creator, and he has a purpose for you. That is your world that you are meant to change, and it is not insignificant. In Pirkei Avot, it says, you're not obligated to complete the work, but neither are you free to desist from it. Our sages, they talk about this big mound, this huge, almost you could say infinite mound of sand. And someone says, dig. You're thinking, what am I going to dig over here? I'm going to dig for the rest of my life. That is life for you. You're digging the rest of your life. You're trying to become better and better. You're not obligated to complete the work, but you're not allowed to desist from it. You're obligated for the rest of your life to come closer and closer to your truest essence, to good, to do good, etc. And that is your responsibility. That is the spiritual spark that you send into the world. That is how you change the world.
As everyone knows, we are at home a lot more. We have a bit more time flexibility. We don't have to rush out the door in the morning. And so this is really the time for us to reflect. It is an opportune time for those of us who fortunately are not affected directly by the disease. It is a time for us to think, to step back, look at our lives, evaluate what we've been doing. It is a time to reboot. You restart your computer or your phone sometimes. Everything's fine after that. This is a reboot. We needed this reset button, and God knew that we needed it.
So, as Hindalea said, evaluate what is important. You get up in the morning and you go to work, and you're plugging away every single day. You're working hard. I'm giving credit to you. But what is this work for? We're in an opportune time. Right now, we are forced to be with ourselves. Me being with me, well, and my wife. I get to think about what is actually important. Why am I working so much? What is the actual ultimate infinite purpose of it? And if I realize, or you realize, you're working because you want to provide a roof above your head, food for your children, an education for your children, flowers for your wife, all these nice things, then you realize that there's a purpose to what you're doing. And you're going to realize what all of this is meant for, and you're going to re-energize your entire experience. A lot of people are saying, I want to go back to normal. I want to go back to, not being in quarantine. I don't want to go back to normal. I don't think we should go back to normal. Normal means that we're going back to what the problem was. And so I want to come back into work knowing what the full purpose of it is, to take the time to sit with my family, to talk about things, to raise my children, to teach them good values, to actually spend time with them, coming back, once the quarantine is over, to actually implement that. And by that, we change the world. That is the ultimate purpose, I believe, of this time period.
So in summary, how do you change the world? You start by changing yourself. Thank you so much for joining us. Please comment. Tell us what we should talk about for the next video. Send us messages. Let us know what you think. And have a great week.